Hi, folks. Thank you again for joining us today at Food for Thought. This is Sunil Chandy, Father Chandy from Christ Church, and I'm just so glad that we are here together and connecting at this program. I'm trying to find on my iPad where we are in terms of there we are. I think we are here, but. Hope everything is going well. I'm not sure how many people are live today, but I have a feeling that there's going to be at least 10 by now, and and I hope everyone is doing well. Well, we'll leave that alone for right now. But anyway, I'm so glad that you're here. If you can, say hello. We'd love to hear from you. We have a wonderful. We have two guests today that I think you'll enjoy greatly, and that you know them already. They're members of our community here in Westerly and Stonington. They've been in this area for most of their life, I think, and they are a part of a great organization that I really enjoy being a part of myself, the Literacy Volunteers. So we'll talk about that and their work in just as soon as they come on board. But one of the things that we want to do, what I really would love to do, is talk to you about this. Mary, thank you for watching. Natalie, thank you for being here. Marsha, thank you for being here. And good afternoon. Good. I'm glad that I could say hello to a couple of folks as well. And there are about 30 people watching. Ben says there are about 30 people. Dale, good to see you. I hope Don is doing well too. Thank you for being here. And it's interesting. Today we had the prayers of the people at the morning prayer, and one of the things about technology is that we're still learning how to deal with it. At least I am, and so I'm trying to get all my prayers and everything in order right before the service. I thought I had plenty of time, and I printed out the prayer list from May 9th. Jackie is so organized. Our parish administrator is so organized. She sends it out, a prayer list and so forth. But then I neglected to do one thing with the prayer list, and that is that I looked at May 9th as the date, but I didn't look at the year. And so I read the prayers of the people from, or the prayer list from 2019. And so I've been getting a lot of comments from people today. Are they okay? Are the people on that list okay? Yes, the people on that list, many of them are doing fine, and it was my mistake. So I want to apologize for that in advance. We're working through this technology issue. We're working through the challenges of COVID-19. One of the things that I love is whenever on Food for Thought, whenever I do morning prayer in the morning, that's where I usually get my inspiration for Food for Thought. What are the thoughts that come up that might be able to give us some inspiration, some insight in dealing with the various issues and challenges that we're facing, especially with this COVID-19 situation. And I love the gospel lesson today. And I love actually the fact that we were lifting, a saint of the church, Frances Perkins, and talk about her for a second. But I love the gospel lesson, and it's about when Jesus went up to Bethsaida, and the crowds had followed them in the Gospel of Luke, and he spoke to them. And they were there all day with Jesus, and finally, they were getting hungry, and the disciples were saying, well, Jesus, these people, they've come from a long way, and they're just here, and they're hungry and everything. Let them go home to get something to eat. They could go to the surrounding villages and countrysides to lodge and get provisions, because we're in this deserted place, the disciples say, and they need something to eat. And what Jesus does is, and it's almost comical, in the Gospel of Luke, he said to them, and I'm quoting, he said to them, "You give them something to eat." And I can imagine, this is about I think this is the feeding of the 5,000, right? And they've got all these people, 5,000 people, 5,000 men, right? Men, and then there are women and children and so forth. And and Jesus is saying to them as they look out to him and they're presenting him to the problems, because I think that's kind of what we do when we are in the midst of a struggle or something. The first thing we say is, "Oh God, help us! Create a miracle, have something happen." And then, but what Jesus does, and I think what God does for us, is He turns it around. He turns it around to these disciples who say, let them go home, let them find the way something to eat. And He says, you give them something to eat. You find it. You make the miracle happen. And I can imagine Peter and John and James and all those other disciples, doubting Thomas, Judas, and Philip, all those guys saying what? Jesus, are you mad? We can't do that. We can't feed this. And so they're searching. They're looking. Jesus causes them to look deep inside in terms of their community and in terms of finding their inner resources, their strength to deal with the present challenge. And what they do is they end up with a little boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. And you know the story. Jesus takes those 5 loaves and 2 fish. He prays over it, blesses it, and all of a sudden, all the people are fed. The 5,000 plus some. And then they had extra, right? So I think part of what, in the midst of a challenge, we always look outside. We always look somewhere else to find our solutions. But I think what's so powerful about today's reading in the Gospel of Luke, and thinking about Francis Perkins, that wonderful saint who came into the Episcopal Church, and then she eventually became a member of the cabinet for the President of the United States, FDR, and how this woman dug in deep to look for resources, not from outside, but from inside, within her community, to build that community and then allow the miracle of the New Deal to happen. And that helped resurrect the United States, and then by extension, the world, from this great depression that they were facing. And so Francis Perkins, I think, is a person that you all, we read about her a little bit. She is actually listed in Holy Women and Holy Men, and her bio is amazing. And it's interesting. She actually became an Episcopalian at a church that I was just so at the Church of the Holy Spirit in Lake Forest, Illinois. I know that church because that's the church that my old Bishop George Council was the rector of. And I can't believe that this is where she became an Episcopalian and started her life as a Christian and in politics. And I think about her life. I think about also the gospel lesson and how it calls us not to look for the solutions of our problems out there, or kind of like as a Deus ex machina type of situation where God comes in and gives us the answer. Rather, the answer is found in our resiliency, in our curiosity, in our intelligence, in our creativity. It's on our resilience to face our challenges head on, and know that God will give God's Spirit to provide something miraculous for the whole community. The great thing about Francis Perkins and those disciples were they were looking for how to help the whole community. When our mindset is that way, then the miraculous will happen, and we're open. We're hopefully humble enough to hear the creativity and the way God is speaking to us. Today we have two wonderful guests. They are representing to us. Mary Carol Cadenzia, who is the executive director of Literacy Volunteers of Washington County, and then her and a board member, Jen Richens Mellon, are going to join us. You know, the mission of the Literacy Volunteers of Washington County is to improve the lives of adults in Washington County and in southeastern Connecticut by offering free literacy programs and services. And they do a host of things, adult basic literacy, education, English for speakers of other language, citizenship preparation, financial literacy, workforce literacy, GED support. I've been so impressed by their work that when I had the opportunity to join their board, I did. It's beautiful. And Mary Carol Cadenzia, I want to tell her, she's an amazing lady. She's been the executive director of the Literacy Volunteers of Washington County since 2018. Prior to that, she worked in publishing for most of her career in both management and editorial roles. She lives with her husband, Tom, in Westerly, and they have two adult children, Carolyn and Glenn. Glenn, who is a good friend of our producer of our show, Ben, and we were joking about that a little bit right before. And then there is Jen Richens Mellon. Jen's bio is that she's been in Westerly, Watch Hill area for over 25 years. Her husband and her bought a place in Weekapaug 5 years ago, and she splits her time between there in Weekapaug and Boston. They have two adult grown children who live in Cambridge and Boston. Jen's father, how I met Jen and their whole family, and especially Pat, her mother, was through Pat and Bob Richens. Bob is her father. Bob had been an active member of the Literacy Volunteers until his passing in 2016. And then she joined that board shortly after. Bob and Pat, hopefully we'll talk a little bit about them. They're amazing people in our community as well. Amazing people. Jen's professional background is in retail buying and management, and has been involved in working with a number of nonprofits in the Boston area. So Ben, please bring them both in, Mary Carol and Jen, and hopefully our internet is working well. Hi, folks. Jen, Mary Carol, how are you?
Hello.
Good. Thank you.
Good. I'm so glad that you guys are here. And I know, we've been having a little bit of issues with our internet. And so if we cut out, that's okay. We'll adapt to the situation. And Mary Carol is actually close to her router in our home, which is really good. So I want to thank you both for being here, and I want to thank you. I'm grateful for your friendship. I've known you, Mary Carol, I think since last year, and Jen since I think since 2016 or 2015.
2015, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've known your family, and I've really appreciated, especially knowing Bob. He was. Caswell Cook says Bob Richens was an amazing man. Knew him since he was a little kid. Since Caswell was a little kid.
Me too.
And Pat, your mother, is just amazing too, and you have a wonderful family. And Mary Carol, I just love being with you. You have such a wonderful demeanor. I know that Glenn, your son, is good friends with Ben, our producer, and we were joking a little bit about that today. It's a small, good community that we have, don't we?
Yes, indeed.
We have a wonderful community, and what makes it great is that people like you both are doing great work, especially with the literacy volunteers. Can you tell us a little bit about the organization and what it does, and about the really wonderful board that you have too?
Sure, I can start out. We've been in existence since 1982. Literacy Volunteers started as an outreach of the Westerly Public Library. And for many years, actually up until 2008, we were housed in the library. Actually, no, a little bit earlier, around 2005, 2006, when the library went through its major renovations. That's when we began looking for new quarters and found ourselves at the Tower Street Community Center. Um, but yeah, we've been offering services as to adult basic education, to English language learners, workplace preparation, citizenship preparation, GED support for close to 40 years now. So we've been a wonderful part of this community for a long time. And exactly that, people like Jen's father, Bob Richens, was a long-term supporter of us. Joyce Ahern was another very, very positive and strong proponent for many years. So, it's terrific to have a board. In the many years that I've been working with boards, there's never been one that's been so active and involved and interested in the work that we're doing. So we're very, very grateful.
Well, it's interesting. I'm, just recently meeting members of the board. They're all very intelligent and well accomplished. And the big thing about it, the big thing that I've noticed about them is that they all have a real heart for the community. They really care about people in this community, and that's just beautiful. I mean, Robin is our president of the board, isn't it? And yes, and she's an amazing lady, and all of the board members are just powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, I know, like, one of the things that you all seem to do well is you collaborate with other groups and other communities too. I mean, we have each year. How I first was introduced to your work was that you have each year almost like an event at the Watch Hill at the Ocean House, with Chuck Royce
Right.
and Deborah supporting you all, and you have a public speaker, a well-known speaker, a writer of note come in, and it's just powerful. I've just enjoyed it, coming there and participating and just being in the audience. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
We do. Go
ahead.
ahead, Jen.
No, the speaker event has always been one of our biggest fundraisers, and it's a great way to bring the whole community together. And we're always looking right off as soon as the one is over. We're looking for the next one. So.
Yeah. I mean, so who do you have coming up? Do you know? Do you know this year is going to be pretty interesting? I don't know what's going to happen. I would think.
Well, like everyone else, we had to put things on hold for a while, and we had we had one scheduled for June, and we hope to maybe still have one late fall. But I think with everything, we're sort of we're a little bit on hold until we know more. So, yeah. Mary Carol, you probably know more of the latest on that, but. Obviously, we can't bring a big crowd together of 250 people. So whether we need to do things virtually, we have to adapt, and which is why we're doing other fundraisers to help us through that.
Right, and you are adapting. Part of it is that the latest fundraiser that you have. I mean, and these are funds to raise up funds for the programs that are meaningful in the life of our community members. And people who might not have access to resources like some of us do, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're kind of connecting communities of people together, but you're also in the midst of it there's a really creative way of dealing with this situation. What's the next program that you guys are doing that it's really pretty powerful? I am looking forward to it.
Well, we are in the process. We're kicking it off this Friday, but it's called Lace Up for Literacy, and we're encouraging people. There's our flyer. Mary Carol has our flyer, and We are encouraging people to pledge a distance they will walk, or they can ride or swim or whatever they want to do. We want people to get out and just enjoy the outdoors and do it for a good cause. And there's really no pressure. There's no minimum. We just think it's a great opportunity to, the one thing we can all do is try to enjoy the outdoors as long as we keep a social distance. And it's a way to just remind people that we are here too, and we're still working really hard to stay connected with our students and our tutors. And these days communication is key, and we want to make sure we can continue those services as much as we can. So it's going from May 15th to May 31st, and it should be a lot of fun. I mean, it's hopefully you can be anywhere. You don't have to necessarily be Westerly. So I've got some friends up in Boston who have pledged, and they're going to be walkers, and I'm going to be walking and share photos, and it's all to help our organization keep the doors open. So
yeah, I mean, and you could be in Tennessee, you could be in Florida, you could be anywhere. Just walk. And
exactly.
And I think it's really interesting, because what it is we all need physical activity. We're all right now cooped up in our homes, and we're kind of always sitting down in front of our computers, whether you're a child doing online learning or in a Zoom meeting, running your business or whatever. And you need to get out. And sometimes it's so hard to get out.
Absolutely.
And this is a good opportunity to do something good while you're getting some good
exercise. Good for yourself, and it's good for the community. It's very therapeutic just to go out on, especially a day like today, just to try to get out and take a little walk.
Right.
And so you could actually you could walk, you could also can you ride a bike also? That
you can. I mean, if you want to set the miles based on riding a bike, rollerblading. I think someone wanted to
It's skateboarding.
I don't think I'm going to try that, but
I don't think so either.
But so whatever. I mean, some people said, "Oh, I'd like to do it, but I'd rather bike." Particularly younger kids, they might not want to walk; they'd rather bike, and that's great. Whatever they want to pledge, if it's 50 cents per mile or $1 per mile, whatever you want to do, it's great. We welcome all levels of participants, in terms of you don't have to be a super fit triathlon person.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've got my mom wearing a Fitbit now, and she's liking it.
She's liking it. It's like, that's good.
Back of her steps every day. Yeah.
Oh my God, I miss seeing Pat. I'm hoping that she's doing well.
Yeah, she's doing well. Yeah.
So then, so again, this is a program, but really behind it is also the great work that you're doing. I mean, how are we connecting? How are you connecting with your tutors and the people who are in need right now of just help? How's that working? Are we doing mostly, Mary Carol? Are we doing mostly online learning now? How's the work being completed?
Absolutely. Once we, as of March 13th, when our offices closed, we were in a holding pattern for about a week or so, trying to figure out what was going to happen. Would we get back into the classroom? And when we realized that this was going to be something long-term, then we started adapting the classes and the work to online learning. So, for example, we have several conversation classes a week, not only in Westerly, but also at the University of Rhode Island. There's an International Women's Book Club in the Kingston area. We have a class up in North Kingston. Those classes all went online almost immediately via Zoom meetings. Another big part of the services we offer are the one-on-one tutoring sessions. A number of people had already been using FaceTime or WhatsApp, but that's also increased exponentially in light of our current restrictions, et cetera. So we have the one-on-one tutoring, and we also increased our offerings online. So for example, if people want to work individually, they can download lesson plans. They can use Duolingo or Mango for backup. There really is no substitute for one-on-one and that interpersonal relationship, but that being restricted right now, we're able to accomplish quite a bit with the people in our market who are responding very well to the changed circumstances right now. And it's kind of ironic. A lot of our students are young mothers, young fathers, so they're in a situation where they're at home with their own children, helping them with distance learning and at the same time working with it themselves. So it creates quite an interesting environment for them.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I'm wondering even if more services are being accessed because they have the flexibility of doing this learning while at home. They don't have to worry about finding a daycare or babysitting for their children while they could still be able to do some learning.
That's true. Yeah.
That
is very true.
I'm thinking about the gospel lesson, right? And again, this is most of our community are people from Christchurch, and we've got a larger reach now. We're getting many people from all over. And one of the things that the gospel lesson, which I see is what you all are doing and the board is doing. There are the challenges, the real challenges in life, and you're not waiting for someone to come and give you the solution. The solution comes from within your striving, within our striving as a community. And the strength is actually coming from above to say, saying the Spirit that is encouraging us to do something. It may not be perfect, but do something, and that's inspiring. I loved your group. I love the literacy volunteers. I think you guys are doing amazing work, and it's really pretty powerful. I have some of our folks at Christchurch are tutors, and Joan Bring is one of those people, and
exactly.
And every time I come back from talking with them, they always speak in glowing terms about how they're helping people, and the people who are being helped, there's such humility and such grace and also such such joy there. Would you still need more volunteers to help out?
Oh, absolutely. We always welcome volunteers. And one of the things particularly, of course, would be now people who have some sense of comfort with using distance learning, with using FaceTime or Zoom or that type of thing. So yes, we always are open to new students, new tutors. Yeah. We have a wide open policy. We're not at Jesus's 5,000, but we're hoping to get there sometime.
Oh, beautiful. Love it.
This opportunity in the past, because I was never here full time, I haven't been. I primarily was here in the summer, and we weren't open in the summer. But I think going forward, our program is having to adjust, and it will allow more people like myself to now be able to tutor, because I miss that one-on-one connection that you were talking about. I love helping the organization, but I think also it's important to have that one-on-one connection too.
Yeah, the one-on-one connections, it bridges communities and great divides. It helps people to kind of just see people as people, and the gifts of God come out of that. I love it. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
And Jen, again, give us the details about the lace up for volunteers, so we could just make sure that we have that imprinted.
So if you go to our website, and we have all, it's right there as soon as you open up, all the information. And you can either pledge to be a walker and set a distance or an amount of money that you would like to walk and donate. You can donate it yourself. You can seek out sponsors. We find people are doing both. Some people don't want to walk and they're just happy to donate. But it's just really meant to be sort of a fun way to get healthy and help us out. It's pretty straightforward. The people, we're doing well with our walker registrations, and we might be getting close, but the first 50 get a free 1-month membership audiobook from Libro, which is great. I tend to I like to walk to audiobooks if I'm walking alone. And we're kicking it off on Friday. So it's going to run for 2 weeks, and weather looks like it might be cooperating with us. So
Sounds
great. And here's our little logo. I got a bigger version of it.
I love it.
I love our logo. Alyssa Sweet did
Tell them what that is.
Yeah, well, it is. It's my dog's bandana. But if we do this in the future, we could do more things. But we had, we wanted to keep things tight budget, and really the funds we raise all go to helping literacy volunteers. So
yeah, definitely. And people could take pictures of themselves walking or riding and sending it in somehow.
We would love that. Yeah, there's the hashtag LaceUpLVWC, and just post pictures. And I think that's, again, it expands the community of people getting out there and share anything. Share, if it's a great picture that where you're walking. I think we've been down here a couple of months now with the quarantine, and I've discovered so many beautiful areas of Westerly that I wasn't as familiar with. And so I think it's a great opportunity to even explore your own community and take advantage of different trails you've never been on, do the bricks and mural walk downtown. There's just a lot of neat things to explore. So we're encouraging people.
I love it. Excellent. And even if we have a large overseas audience, people are from England or India, they can take pictures out there. And be a part of this thing.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Good. Again, I want to thank you both. Thank you for your friendship. I'm grateful to God to have to know both of you and to know of the great work of the literacy volunteers. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. See you later.
Have a great day.
You too. Folks, again, thank you for being with us. It's just another great set of people that are in our community, and they represent this wonderful board. And I hopefully, and they're trying to do something positive and helpful for our community. And I think this is a good way, in the midst of a challenge, we don't just look inward. We don't look for just a woe is me attitude in terms of all the being overwhelmed by our challenges, but rather we look out to see if we could help others. And as we do that, we find the inner strength to help us deal with our own challenges. So anyway, let's end up our time with prayer. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Jesus Christ, you traveled through towns and villages, curing every disease and illness. At your command, the sick were made well. Come to our aid now in the midst of the global spread of the coronavirus. Heal those who are sick with the virus. May they regain their strength and health through quality medical care. Heal us from our fear, which prevents nations from working together and neighbors from helping one another. Be present with those in authority who are making hard decisions. Support the medical professionals, emergency responders, teachers and students, and priests and chaplains, and our caregivers. We ask this all in your name, Jesus. Amen. Join with me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, friends, for being with us. And if you like what you see here, please do share. Share on Facebook. Share. Press those heart buttons. Comment and tell us. Ask us questions if you need to. And again, try to join us for the Lace Up for Literacy program and the walking or biking or whatever you want to do active out there. Join us and help this larger community. Thank you for being with us.